Alright guys, back with another video. So we got Pierre. This is another clip from what he did last week when he was on the Elevate podcast. If you don't know who they are, go check them out. It's a very good podcast. And they had Pierre Poilievre on. Here's another clip I'm going to show you guys. It's called Tear Down the Liberal Wall to Unleash an Economic Bonanza. Something we desperately need in this country. So we're going to get into this, but before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. I appreciate you guys for doing that for me. So let's have a look.
Does there come a point where it's like, we just need all hands on deck, and try to work together somehow? And I guess that was what you're trying to do with Bill C5 before Parliament left session. And so you're trying to I know it's not what we wanted, but we'll try to get something going here.
No, so C5, you think of C5 as the Liberals have built a big wall to block our resources off. What C5 is allows the government to permit businesses to go around that wall. Obviously, our view is get rid of the wall. But we didn't have the votes to do that at this time. So what we've said is we're introducing something called the Canadian Sovereignty Act, which would knock down the wall that blocks the self-imposed wall that the government has put in place blocking our resources, and legalize rapid pipeline, mine, LNG, nuclear plant construction so that we can get these things done by repealing C69, C48, the industrial carbon tax. All of those things need to go. And by making it, lowering the capital gains tax to zero if you reinvest in Canada. And actually news came out today showing this would be particularly helpful because this year, 125 billion net has left Canada to invest in the American markets. $125 billion, it's a lot of money. And if you had a rule that anybody who sells an investment in Canada but reinvests it back in sells it anywhere in the world but reinvests it back in Canada, gets a capital gains tax deferral, there'd be an enormous incentive to bring all those, not just the 125 that left this year, but the 800 or 900 billion that have left in the last decade, bring it all pouring back into our economy. It would be rock and roll. It'd be factories and pipelines and business centers, and new IP would be invented. It would be like an economic bonanza. So that's part of our Canadian Sovereignty Act.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what we need right now. There's many reasons why it's difficult to find a job. Yeah, there's too many people, not enough businesses, but you cap immigration, you send some people who shouldn't be here, like people who've committed crimes, for example, home, and then you start so many businesses and the economy is going to be booming, and then the companies look at Canada and they go, oh wow, tax breaks if you come here and start businesses, which, by the way, Liberals, we need businesses in order to have jobs. I know it doesn't sound good to give these corporations tax breaks, but if other countries are going to do it, they're going to leave or not come here at all and go to the United States. I'm not saying continually give them tax breaks, that they keep all the money and we get the crumbs. I'm not saying that. But if you make, for example, like a lot of people say, well, workers aren't paid enough. Okay. One thing that would help us tremendously would be leverage. Right now, if you're a company and you're hiring 5 positions at your company, you need 5 mechanics or whatever it might be. There's going to be 20 applications. You need 5 cashiers. Again, there's going to be 20, 25, 30 applications. You have no leverage as the employee, because if you say no to the job or say, hey, I want $20 an hour, and they say, sorry, we're paying minimum wage, they will find someone who will work for minimum wage, giving you no leverage. But if they build so much business and the economy starts to roar again and the immigration gets capped off, you're going to have a situation where there's so few people looking for work that a new business shows up and they're going to have to incentivize people to come work for them. Well, the best way you can do that is to say, hey, instead of minimum wage, we'll pay you 18, 19, 20, whatever it is an hour. And then wages start to go up again because we have leverage. If the employee has no leverage, the employers have all of it. And therefore, they will make all the money and they will pay us as little as they possibly can. That's why a free and fair capitalist market is the best way to go, not this crony corporate capitalism that we have now, where they come here and they know that they got you by the balls. You have no leverage. You're going to take what they pay you and that's it. You can't say no and go find another job a couple days later because you're screwed. If you're in a situation where you are desperately looking for a job, First one that comes up, you kind of got to take it because you don't know if it's going to be another month or 2 or longer. Then the next thing you know, your EI runs out or your savings dry up, and now you're even more desperate. It's a bad situation. That's why we need our economy unleashed, and that's why, for many reasons, as I said, Pierre Poilievre is the right man for the job.